hello, welcome back to my channel, and I'm back for you with the most requested topic by you guys, and this is a residence permit procedure in Georgia. I will try to be as helpful as possible and to provide detailed information regarding residence permit procedures in Georgia. And if you will like my work, because I put lots of energy and time in this, please leave a comment, and as well as let me know what kind of topics you would like to see next, because my aim is to help you to start in Georgia. So let's start now, talk about residence permit procedures in Georgia.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story, and I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Georgia issues several types of residence permits, which will be discussed by me right now. So, first type of residence permit in Georgia, which I will be discussing now, is work residence permit. Work residence permit is granted in Georgia based on your business activities or based on your job work contract. So you can apply for this kind of residence permit with your business related documentations, which is business registration certification or some kinds of invoices, declarations, or with your job contract and salary. And for this residence permit, you will need also to submit your bank statement, and also it's required that your passport to be translated and notarized, legalized in Georgia. And the application fee is up to 230 lari if you want to receive the answer within 30 working days. And if you would like to receive your work permit for earlier, you can pay more, like 400 lari or so, and you will you will be rejected. At least you will know answer before this time period, so within 10 working days. So the one important thing that I don't want to forget, and this applies not only to work residence permit but any kind of residence permit in Georgia, is that any alien coming to Georgia need to have at least 40 days legal stay left prior their application for residence permit in Georgia. Most of foreigners from Asian country come here with e-visa, which is all the time issued with 30 days legal stay, which cannot be base of residence permit application. So if you would like to apply for residence permit in Georgia, make sure that you obtain from Embassy of Georgia at least 90 days visa prior to your come to Georgia in order to be eligible to apply for residence permit in Georgia. Again, to apply for residence permit in Georgia, you need to have at least 40 days legal stay in Georgia. This does not apply for certain countries, which is listed in my another blog. I will link down in this description my blog about visa requirements to Georgia. There are plenty of countries which citizens of which countries can come in Georgia, stay for 1 year, and of course above mentioned circumstances does not apply for those people. So check my blog about visa requirement. Check whether you are eligible for if you are eligible for 1 year stay. Forget about this, because you are anyways have 1 year legal stay. If you are eligible for e-visa, make sure that you apply in Georgian embassy for at least 90 days stay. If you want to obtain here work permit or any other residence permit, and if you are not eligible, if you are not neither following under category of e-visa or free entrance, and it means that you need to go to Georgian embassy in order to be granted opportunity to visit Georgia, make sure that you apply and you choose at least 90 days legal stay in Georgia. That's it. So now let's talk about second type of residence permit, which is student residence permit in Georgia. And this is all the residence permits in Georgia. For all the residence permit in Georgia, you need to apply in Public Service Development Agency and with your supporting documentation. In this case, it will be your acceptance letter, a letter from university. You can go to a Public Service Development Agency and apply for a student visa. Usually work visa. I forgot about work permit. Usually it is granted for 6 months. And then you need to prolong it for 1 year and more and more. After 5 years, you can be granted permanent residence permit. After 5 years of obtaining short-term residence permits, you will maybe granted permanent residence permit in Georgia. This is called special residence permit. So now, as our conversation led to special residence permit in Georgia, let's continue talking about special residence permit. Special residence permit is granted for those people who are a victim of trafficking and that have that can prove it. And special residence permit is also issued for those people who have been granted the Georgian residence permit up to 5 years, and then they can claim for their special residence permit, which is usually a long-term permanent. So now about two other very demanding type of residence permits in Georgia, for which most recent amendments apply. These are investment residence permit. Investment residence permit is granted for those investing in business and for those investing in real estate. There was required before that you had to invest in real estate or in business at least 30,000 Georgian lari, which was recently, which will be from July changed, and it will be, instead of 30,000 Georgian lari, 30,000 US dollar equivalent to Georgian lari investment. So in other words, you need to invest in business or real estate at least 30,000 US dollar in order to gain investment residence permit. The good news, which is makes your life easier, is that if before it was granted for 3 years, now it's granted for 5 years. But there is special requirement for investment residence permit and as well as real estate residence permit, which is usual for every company in Georgia, that you need to submit annual accounting reports, and there is also set of minimum turnover requirements, which I will check now in my blog. And if you would like to know more detailed information for any of the topic that was discussed in today's video blog, I will link the description down below, links to my blog posts where I discuss all these details, all these topics in details. We'll check right now my most recent blog. First ever turnover, it should be not less than 50,000 US dollar equivalent to Georgian lari. Next year, second year, 100,000 US dollar equivalent to Georgian lari, and the third year turnover should not be less than 120,000 USD equivalent to Georgian lari. And as for real estate investment, it is required that you stay the legal owner of that property during the validity period of your special type of investment residence permit in Georgia. If you're interested in key facts about business immigration in Georgia, key facts about business environment in Georgia, such as citizens, which country citizens are arriving in Georgia, and from these nations who buy the most real estate, or who are most likely to get a residence permit in Georgia, or who are guaranteed most of the times a permanent residence permit or investment residence permit. All these details are discussed in my most recent video, on my most recent blog, which I will not start discussing right now because it's really much information. But if you are, and I think not everybody is interested, so if you are keen on this information, you can check my blog, which I will link in the description. I will just mention that the recent changes, which was that you need to stay a legal owner of this, single legal owner of this property during your validity period of your investment residence permit. This amendment in Georgia happened because the fraud was discovered that most of foreigners, they would buy here property and then they would be granted investment residence permit, and then they would sell it to their family members, and all the family members, like 10 or 15 people, would be able to be granted investment residence permit like this with one property, which was easily detected by Georgian government, and that's why this new legislation applies now. So make sure that if you apply for investment residence permit, it's only for yourself and not all your extended family. So I hope that I was helpful today. If you like my video, don't forget to leave a comment for me. I always read all the comments that you leave, and this very motivates me very much today. And let me know what kind of topics you would like me to prepare for you, and I will do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story, and I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.